Well, hello everyone. I'm selling another Compumotor C series drive, but this one is CT series drive, which included the heatsink on top. Is the same of the C series, but require a lot less power. This one only require 12 volts DC 1 amp for the power, and for the logic 9 to 12 of 300 milliamps. I have the motor, which is 8 wires, is Shinano Kenshi. It's a pretty good brand of motors, NEMA 23. And I will include both power supply. The only thing, the main power is only 500 milliamps, so it's half of the amp, but you will see how nice it works. And if your system requires up to 1 amp, and then you have to move or find 1 amp 12 volts DC power supply. But I will include both the 12 volts, which is what I said again, is very important. 12 volts at 500 milliamps, not an amp, and the logic power supply. I include both, so you're gonna have everything ready to go: the stepped motor, the driver, and the 2 power supplies. This is what I say, 8 wires, is 2-phase motor. I already connect everything. By the way the driver's coming is without anything. Actually, it's this way. Let me show you, like this. Just the driver, but I have some connectors that I will be included as well. So, by the way, they are assembly one to another, so you're able to break down and make this is a nice connector, because you can make them larger or shorter with a cover. So anyway, and I will include just one jumper. What you see right there is one jumper. Let's start with the very first 3 jumpers. From the right to the left is jumper 1, 2, and 3. I just want to check the 3 ones. The very first one is the one to have more power, or which absorb the more amperage for the power supply. By the way, the motor is 11.2 volt, which is pretty good in harmony with the other stuff. So I want to put the jumper in the 3rd, and you will see how I can stop the motor very easy, because if you read, it's easy to download the manual in the Compumotor. The only thing you have to do is just type in your browser Compumotor C series manual, and this pop up right away, and then you go and you can download. Well, actually, I'm putting in the, I want to do the right way. Don't want to take too much time doing the video. I don't want you guys get tired about see a long video, but I like to do these things correctly. So okay, let me stick this one in the 3rd. It's hard to stick those things by fingers. Okay, right now the jumper is in the 3rd, in the 3rd connector. I want to turn it on, and you see the motor is turning, but if I hold it, you see I can hold it and still stall, losing the step, because it's very soft and very gentle amperage. But let me tell you, if you have a good equipment, like a good table with good components, what I mean with good component is maybe a table with steel balls in a reel, and lead screw, steel ball lead screw. I tell you something, this guy, even if you put few pounds on top of it, of your table, with this set, is gonna be working good. But if you don't have good quality X and Y table, and if you have, you know, like the kind of the Max what is the name of the company, well, it's a machine in it's a blue machine, Max NC or something like that. They don't use any, they use, you know, there's metal to metal friction, so you require a lot of power in order to use those kind of machines. The same, the Shoreline and the Tag machines there have absolutely no ball screws, nothing like that, just metal to metal. Anyway, it's not getting hot at all. Actually, it's very cold because it's very low amperage. But let me tell you, you can, I guarantee, because I have machines with very good components, and that with this speed or with this amperage very low, keep my motor cold and my table moves slow, but you can put a few pounds on top of it, because the force is not gonna be in the motor. The force is gonna be in the steel balls in your machine device. So anyway, let's turn it off and move to the second one, and move this to the second, and it's going to increase the amperage, and at the same time is going to increase the torque as well. Okay, let's see if I'm doing correct. I hope so. Let's turn it on. Now I do something wrong. Let me go back and see what's the deal I did. Oh, I missed one pin. Let me check. Let me go do it again and see what's happened now. Okay. Now I notice I hear the motor with more power, and if I try to hold it, I can. Well, I remove the part, but if I hold it, it's taking me a lot more force to make the motor stall, maybe twice or third more than the very first spin. You see it turning, perhaps. Okay, so let me turn it off and move to the very first one. And remember, I'm using power supply with just 500 milliamps. So I'm gonna move to the first one. Let me show you, to the very first jumper and the very first connector, starting in the right. I'm gonna turn it on. I hear again what is increase the power. Now this is turning, and if I try to hold it, I can stop it. I give you my word, I can stop it. I mean, this is amazing. This is a great. Okay, so let's just move the motor for about few seconds, and I tell you, the motor is still cold. I mean, those old this is an old drive, but this is a beautiful. I mean, I love them because you have the ability to connect from here to your host computer by the 232C, which is required just 3 wires, sending and receiving data, and ground. That's it. And the Compumotor, they still have a software in which you can make a program for your machine. So anyway, it's just a tiny warm, but it's still cold. Anyway, I want to turn it off. I don't want to try to make this video too long. I just want to demonstrate it to you. Remember the first, second, third, and I not remember even the fourth jumpers are dedicated for the amperage, but this little baby is a micro-stepped driver, 25,000, I believe 10, 5, and 2,000 steps per revolution. Okay, let me turn it off. Now I want to show you the 2 power supplies that came with it. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the largest one, which is what I said. It's just right there, connected to your outlet wall, and then this is the minus and the plus, 500 milliamps. It's a pretty decent power supply. I believe that you don't require more than this if you're running what I said, if you have a good components. If you don't, and then you probably need to sacrifice to get 1 amp power supply and put it on the maximum, but it's gonna be hot, the stepped motor. So it's many things to make a machine work. It's not just the motor and the driver, it's all the components to make the machine work nice and properly. Okay, this is for the main power, and this is for the logic. By the way, I'm using 200 milliamps more than the specification, but I'm using 9 volts, not 12. And these say you can use 9 to 12 volts at 300 milliamps. Because I'm using a 9 volts, that's what I decide to use 500 milliamps, because it's not going to affect at all. Because remember, we have 3 volts less to the maximum, and I proof is working. So what you get is the stepped motor NEMA 23, the power supply, the main power supply, which is 12 volt, 500 milliamps, and the logic, which is 9 volts DC and 500 milliamps as well. I want to sell everything for $54.99, including the connector and everything. So this is exactly the same of the C series. The only difference of the C series, the C without the T, because this one is a CT. But if you download the manual, you're not gonna find the manual CT. You need to read the C series Compumotor manual, and then you're gonna find and down to the pages a part where they describe the properties about the CT, especially in the amperage. The rest are the same resolution. I don't want to lie, but I try to read, and I read all the manual. They don't say the CT is less than 25,000 steps per revolution, so it's micro step driver. So okay. Remember, if you use the 25 pin female connector, you can use your host computer, download the software. You need the small disk, and start to play with. The way I do is I just planning what I'm gonna do. I just write my program, do a test, and save it in the memory inside to the driver. Okay. Okay, well, $54.99, $12 shipping in a medium flat rate box. I don't make a profit at all. What many people does for the shipping, the cost right now with the medium flat rate box USPS is $10.85. The $1.15 is just for the packaging and handling, which is nothing. I mean, what happened for the guys to sell these things for less? I could tell you $19 and $40 shipping, because nobody wants to pay the highest fees the eBay charge in this category, because it's one of the more expensive category in the eBay. So anyway, this is another thing. But I test everything. I want to include just one jumper, but if you want, you can add more jumpers. I just moved one, but you can add more jumpers, and if you read the manual, you see what is the purpose of the rest of the pins. I want to try to leave everything hook up like you see here, and everything whatever want to buy it. And well, I will take some pictures. Thank you for watching. $54.99, $12, and USPS medium flat rate box, priority mail. Thank you and have a great day.